So, good evening and welcome to Formula for Wealth channel. My guest tonight is Sotiris Bassakaropoulos. Have I got that right?
Absolutely.
So, you've got a Greek heritage.
Yes, that's right. My father was originally from Athens, so we lived in Holland for 3 years, and then came over to Northern Ireland to visit my mother's adoptive parents when I was about 6 years old, and they saw a nice building to rent and decided to open a Greek restaurant, and I've been living here ever since. So a lot of people get surprised when they hear, a Northern Irish accent with a Greek name. It's quite funny sometimes.
But you obviously enjoyed the weather.
Oh yeah, oh I love the rain. I'm actually going away to Greece this summer, so I've decided to take off. This is one of the things I like about what we do, I can sort of go whenever I want. It's actually one of the reasons why I started this. And so I'm actually taking off in June, and we're going to do like 2.5 months sort of traveling around Europe, just go in the car, touring for a couple of months, and then probably come back in September. The only reason we come back in September, normally we wouldn't, normally go for 4 months, but because of the kids having to come back and exams and stuff, that's the only reason we're coming back by September.
So we've caught you at the right time anyway, just before you're going away. Would you like to explain what it is you actually do?
Okay. Well, what I do, I first decided when my son was 2 years old, I decided that I wanted to see him grow up, because I'd been working and I was working all night and he was up all day and I was sleeping. So I decided when he was 2 that I wanted my kids to know me and be able to, take them to school and do things. So I started an online business. I went to seminars similar to the one that you were talking about earlier. And I signed up to a whole lot of different internet marketing courses, right? I probably spent about 12 grand in one day or something, on 3 or 4 courses. And from there, I just never looked back. I just, I was never going back to employment. So it's like Tony Robbins says, when you burn your boats, you go to the island and you burn your boats, you're not going back, Yeah. So that's what I did. I started, blogs and websites, doing affiliate marketing, selling products online. And then I remember actually one week I had a coaching client. It's actually quite funny. I had a coaching client and I was helping her to set up her blogs and her shopping cart and payment systems and stuff. And she rang me up and she said, "You're in the Belfast Telegraph." And I'm like, "I'm not in the Belfast Telegraph. I don't advertise in the newspaper. That's like the dark ages." Right?
Yeah.
And she goes, "No, but you're in the Belfast Telegraph. You're in the Belfast Telegraph." So apparently I went about the Belfast Telegraph, and there was an article in the Belfast Telegraph. And apparently, I think it was the second most Twitter followers in Northern Ireland or something. We got like a wee write-up for free in the Belfast Telegraph without even knowing about it.
You can't ask for better advertising than that.
So that's pretty cool. I went to one of the seminars, I remember, for a weekend. And I remember doing a course of like a big time internet guru. And the time I said about Twitter, and I said, "Look, I says there's really, I think there's really big opportunities in Twitter, And he says to me, he says, "Twitter's a waste of time." He says, "You're just going to waste your time, right?" And I was like, you know, but I can send automated messages, I can do automated tweets, I can follow people on my just. I'm buying people to make money on this, you know, and he's like, oh no, you're wasting your time, you waste your time. So I went away to an internet marketing seminar for about 3 days, and I had all these businesses I signed up to, you know, business in the box and make these websites and do all this different stuff. There's so much stuff going on at the time, and I felt really guilty about going away and leaving my business for like 3 days. You know, I was like, you know, I want to do all this stuff, and I'm sitting here listening to people talking. And the funny thing was, before I went away, I set up this automated thing, right? This automated idea, and it was to just follow people on Twitter who talked about a certain keyword. So I would follow people on Twitter who talked about internet marketing or how to get Twitter followers, or, you know, different things like that automatically. And then when I followed them, I would send them a direct message, and I made a YouTube training video where I showed them how to set up their Twitter buttons and how to set up their Twitter profile, right? And then at the end of that, I said to them, you know, if you find this useful, if you'd like to find out how I got, you know, I think it was like 36,000 Twitter followers on autopilot in, you know, 12 weeks or something, you know, click here to see the software that I used or whatever it was, or the system or whatever. So basically, I went away that weekend and I came back, and it was like what I'd seen from the internet marketing seminars. I literally opened my ClickBank account, and it was actually ClickBank training product that showed me how to do it. And I opened my ClickBank account, and I had like 45 sales, and they were complete autopilot while it was sitting in the seminar, including the guy who set up the seminar. Because at the time, ClickBank used to allow you the name of the buyer, where they were from, and he was from Cyprus, right? And it said his name and Cyprus. I was like, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I realized at that stage, this works, you know, this stuff works, you know. And then
Twitter is so powerful.
Yeah.
I remember when it first started, and some of the social media sites I didn't get on with at all. But I really liked Twitter.
Yeah.
And I get people following me saying, how do you get so many followers?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, I don't do anything. I just tweet and people follow me.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was phenomenal when it first started. Yeah.
I absolutely, you know, love Twitter. I love, you know, a lot of the stuff about it, but the only problem I have with it is that, you know, they made a lot of things that made it really good. They took away a lot of the things that made it good, you know, and I think that, to me, that was a bit disappointing. Now, I'm still on Twitter and I still, you know, use it, but I wouldn't get the benefits out of it that I used to get. I mean, it used to be like a machine. It was like,
yeah, I found exactly the same. And I got to be honest that today, Twitter for me is a complaint process.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not getting the result, if I want to make a complaint, post it on Twitter and it's dealt with almost instantly.
Exactly.
So it still works that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But the other way, no, it tends to, it has lost a lot of the magic that it used to have.
Well, the beautiful thing about Twitter, the beautiful thing I love about Twitter is, right, people say, oh, you know, there's no point in doing Twitter unless you have loads of followers and all this stuff. But I mean, the beautiful thing about Twitter is you can go, right, and you can post something. It could be a complaint, it could be something positive, it could be a whatever. And you could send an message to someone with like 12 million followers.
Yeah.
Have like 12 million people see your thing. So it's like, you know, you don't need to follow anybody to do that, you know. Like, you might get blocked if it was the wrong message. But that's another story.
Yeah. We were talking earlier about, and you touched on it, where the you used to put an advert in the paper, and I've actually got here. I first started doing internet marketing. It's a revised product I did, and I did booklets. I did DVDs. Still got master copies of DVDs that I did, and that was back in 2003. And what you did then was you made all these products up. You had a website that people went to, and it's just a sales page with a click through on it. And you advertised in the paper, and
Yeah.
people would go there. But it's just changed so much now.
Yeah.
What do you think of the changes, and how do you keep up with them all?
Yeah. I mean, the changes in internet marketing. I mean, if you know, if you spoke to a lot of people about internet marketing 10 years ago, and you knew, I mean, I knew it was going to be everybody buying stuff online. You know, it just made sense to me. And there was people who thought, go and buy everything online. That's crazy. It's mental. That'll never happen, right? And I mean, now, you drive down the road, you see the painter decorator with a Facebook sign in the back. You see the carpet guy with a Facebook sign in the back. You see the locksmith with a Facebook sign in the back. I mean, everybody, if they're not on Facebook or, social media, it's like, where are you?
That's right, yeah. Yeah.
Are you real? Is it a real business? So I thought at the time, with the newspapers and stuff, I mean, the way it changed, you have to keep up with changes, because the internet, like with the internet, you sort of need to be a chameleon, and when something changes, you have to adopt, and you have to, and I have went through a lot of changes since I started in the internet. Like when I started the internet, it was complete autopilot money on Twitter, right? Easy peasy, right? A couple of thousand a month without doing anything, 40% conversion rate in the capture page. It was not difficult, and I didn't even have to be there, right? But then they started, saying, oh, we don't like you to use automated software. We don't like you to send an automated message back. We don't like you to follow more than 10, 50 people, in an hour. We don't like this. We don't like that. And eventually just got to the stage where, they sort of messed it up. I think a lot, and you can still make money on Twitter if you stand manually and work. You can still, but the joy of Twitter was it was automated. You could do nothing and make all this money. And they sort of ruined it a wee bit. There's still ways to do it, but it's much harder. You might need to sit and load up 200 or 300 messages into software now, whereas before you could do it much easier.
Well, one of the things I found is that I did internet marketing. I then dropped out of that, and I concentrated on writing books. And I progressed on to Amazon and selling books through Amazon and Kindle and the Kindle library. And then I made a decision to go back into creating the products. And the market had changed so much that I had to totally rethink the way I actually marketed the products.
Yeah.
And one of the things we've talked about earlier is you now got to do more blogging, you've got to do more processing, if you like, online.
Yeah.
And that's basically where you come in now, isn't it? Because you run training programs that help people to do that.
Yeah. I show people how to set up their online business, and then how to syndicate their stuff in different places. Now, as we go on with sort of the experience I had over time, I got, when I had my Twitter account a few years, it was flying. Everything was going really, really well, right? From Twitter, I was getting loads of views on my YouTube video. On your YouTube video, if it ranks high, gets loads of views and loads of comments and likes, then it ranks high on YouTube. So I had like 3 YouTube videos with about 20,000 views, and they were just creating this income on autopilot. And then what happened was Twitter decided they didn't want automated software. And because I was using one automated software at the time called Tweet Adder, where it would follow people in certain niches, they basically suspended my account with 60,000 followers, or it was maybe 70,000 at the time, and it was gone. And I was like, like I mean, Twitter was my thing, you know what I mean? And this
Yeah.
was, they took my baby, and they just crushed it, and, cheerio, it's like, what? Is this for real?
Mm.
So then literally within a couple of weeks, and this is why, I think it's very important for people even starting out now. And in the beginning, they're too busy thinking about setting up their business and making money and what to sell stuff. But it's still really important is online asset protection, right? And by online asset protection, I mean my Twitter account went, right? 2 months later, one teenager said that showing people how to get Twitter followers was a scam. Now, that video had 4,000 positive comments, and I got one negative comment, and he flagged it, and he was like maybe about 13 years old, right?
Yeah.
He flagged it. Because he flagged it, YouTube deleted the video, right? So then I sent an email to YouTube saying, look, in this video, basically all I'm doing is just showing people how I got, 60,000 followers. I mean, I'm not doing anything illegal or anything. There's nothing untoward, Could you please put my video back? So 3 days later, I went to my YouTube account, had about 350 videos on it. And all the videos were gone. On my blog, had all videos on them. A lot of, they were all gone. So I'd now got empty posts everywhere, and emails going out in autopilot to empty posts with an empty video saying your account's being suspended. I had links, follow me on YouTube everywhere in the videos. When people click on them, this account's being suspended. And the same with the Twitter. People click and follow me on Twitter, bloop, this account's being suspended. And it makes you look like you're some kind of criminal.
Yeah.
It makes you look really bad, makes your business look bad, and it makes you look stupid. So I mean, quite frankly, there's no other word to describe it. So what I learned from that, and then I learned from like one of my mentors, an American mentor, he got like 3 YouTube channels shut down. There was another guy who made about 2 million from YouTube videos, YouTube account. Not only did they shut his account down, but they actually shut down any account that he had a video on. They literally targeted him and shut down everything. So luckily, he made a load of money, and he went and he got like about 50 Filipino VAs to upload all the videos again on another platform, so he didn't care. But we're back up. But like even when people came to his sales page to buy his products, it was like, this account's been terminated, So protecting your stuff online is really, really important. And I've set up a lot of different systems and things in place to sort of protect your stuff if it's important. If it's really important. If it's just something you've done and you don't really care about, it doesn't matter. But like, say you'd made a book, or you'd done a video training or something, and you're selling it for, you're selling it for $100 or $50 or $200 or whatever. Like, if that email goes out to 2,000 people and it says that your account's deleted, you're looking really stupid.
Yeah.
It's like people are saying, well, I'm not going to buy her course again. It's like, she doesn't even know how to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I immediately, realized that there were certain things I needed to do. I needed to get, Amazon S3 hosting, host my videos that are important on Amazon S3. I needed to host backup copies of my video on other social networks. I needed to, I created like a redirect link using WordPress, where anytime I sent out a link to follow me on Twitter, I could actually go in, change the link, and send it anywhere else, right? So like now, if somebody went to follow me on social media, for example, right? Like I have, my website address would sotiris.com/social, right? Now, if somebody clicked on that, it would take them to a list of all my social networks, right?
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
if that is going in all my emails and people are clicking on it, right? Follow me on social media, click on it. Now, if that was my YouTube account and they clicked on it, and it gets deleted. It's toast, right? But the way I have it set up, if somebody clicks on it, right, and say I have it pointing at YouTube, so say it's sotiris.com/YouTube, right? If somebody clicks that, if YouTube delete my account tomorrow, I can go in, change it to Sotiris, to change it to go to a new YouTube channel instantly, which means all my emails are going to a new YouTube account. All my, are going to a new Twitter account, or whatever. So it means that you're not looking bad, you're not wasting your traffic, you're not wasting your time, all the blog posts you wrote for the last 2 years, going to something that's not there.
Yeah.
Stuff, which is really painful, because you spend years working on it. And,
you do, yeah.
You don't want it to disappear.
No.
It's like any business, if you open a takeaway and, you go a year later and it's like in pieces.
I remember having a problem with Google.
Yeah.
And I had an account and people go into it. It's actually the sample one I showed you, and I had a website for it. And I actually had Google advertising on them. And all of a sudden, I get a message off them to say, your account's been stopped.
Yeah, same.
And I went back and I said, why? We don't have to tell you.
Yeah.
I said, well, can I know what I've done wrong? No, we don't need to tell you.
Yeah.
Can I appeal anything? You have to tell us what you're appealing. Well, I can't tell you what I'm appealing because you won't tell me what I'm actually supposed to have done wrong. And I ended up losing quite a bit of money that I was building up through AdSense on that site.
Yeah, me too.
Even today, even though this is years ago, even today, if I've tried to set something up with Google, they still say your account's found.
Yeah.
And I have absolutely no idea what I did. They won't tell me what I've done.
Yeah.
And for about 10 years or more, that account has been banned. So I do absolutely nothing on Google these days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Except I'm using YouTube, and YouTube's now owned by Google, which doesn't
no. But Google are a nightmare. You have to, like, what I do is I just have alternatives. I have Google and then I have the alternative.
Yeah.
And they're just listening to me. You can hear them beeping in the background.
When we met, because it's about when I say when we met.
Reading about trailblazing women in science, arts, and politics.
You see what I mean?
I can tell you about one if you like.
That's Google for you.
Well, I first connected with you about a year ago when you were doing a webinar all about online training and doing your videos online and hosting online. Do you want to say a little bit about that? Because I think that is such a great way to go these days.
Absolutely. Now you're touching on that, I think it's very important. And I think it's important for people, because what I generally find is when people start a business online, they pick something and then they go with that. And quite often they think, right, that's it. That's my business online, right? And often they don't have a business online. I think that's really important subject that we're on. And I'll go on into the software, right? But I just want to finish in a couple of wee things while I remember it in my head, because my head can go flying somewhere else sometimes on a trip. But what you were saying there about Google and about AdSense, right? I had that Twitter first wipe me out. YouTube wiped me out. Then I made mistakes doing Google AdWords. It cost me £600 in 2 days to make 3 sales of $15 ebooks. I thought I was doing really well until I opened Google AdWords and saw it was £600, because instead of putting 50p a click, I'd put the decimal point in the wrong place. It was £5 a click. So after that, I spent $1,000. I did a course with this guy who taught, Google AdWords, and I learned it really well. And I started like building a real team and making real money in this business using Google AdWords, and it was flying. And I had 37 people signed up, and this was selling like all these different tools. I was going like, this is, just need to just keep increasing this stuff. And then I got the email from Google saying, sorry, your AdWords account has been closed because, and the reason why, I didn't know at the time, but the reason why was Google decided they didn't like affiliate links on AdWords. They didn't like affiliate links.
Ah, okay, yeah.
So that's why they banned, like, I don't know, 400,000 marketers or something, like ridiculous amount of people that banned from their AdWords account, and I was one of the lucky ones. So then they banned AdWords. So then after AdWords, I said, right, you can't trust Google, you can't trust Twitter, you can't trust Facebook, right? So I'm going to do my own little island, right?
Yeah.
So I bought hosting. I set up 650 websites, right? I got them all to rank for certain keywords.
Yeah.
And they were starting to generate me money. They were generating me AdSense money. They were generating me affiliate marketing money from review keywords and stuff. And it was going really, really well, right? And then, of course, once again, the Google, gods, right, decided I had bought these brilliant domains. Like I'm talking about, I'd like, free classified ads, London, this product.com/review, that product.com/review. And it ranked #1 for everything, the world ranked #1. And then after about a year of like flying, a year and a half of flying, Google decided to change their algorithm, and they decided that any exact keyword domain would disappear, even though it was the most relevant domain, right? So even if Stevie in Northumberland shoeshop.com was open and it was called Stevie in Northumberland, if you went and typed in Stevie in Northumberland shoe shop, Stevie disappeared. He's going to get eBay selling shoes, Amazon selling shoes.
Yeah.
Everybody else sells shoes, but Stevie's no longer there. He's retired. Stevie retired.com. Right?
Yeah.
So they basically disappeared. So it's like, this is crazy. This is crazy, because you get, and that's it. I mean, they take you from one, they take you from one thing to the next. What I did find that, when I continued blogging and continued putting content out there and putting it in loads of different places, people would come back and I would get people, and I didn't have to worry as long as I put it in multiple places,
Yeah.
So when I did a post, I shared it everywhere. I shared it on Facebook, I shared it on Twitter, shared it, on Pinterest, just everywhere. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't care if Facebook decided to block me. Don't care. YouTube decided to block me. I've still got Pinterest, I've still got Twitter, I've still got, groups that I'm in, I've still got all this other stuff. So I didn't care. And I got that stage. And, but to me, the most important thing, and going back into where we were going about the software, is that, you need your own land, because you can't trust Google. You can't trust Facebook. And so many people are trying to build a business with Facebook groups. And they're trying to build a business with, Google, SEO, and they're trying to build a business with Amazon. Amazon banned me for life, right? Banned me for life, and I'll tell you why. Because one guy in South America tried to order a book, okay? And I sent him the book, and I wrapped it in about 3 layers of bubble wrap, right? Now, you could have dropped this book in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean and put oars on it and sent it across the ocean. And when he had got it, would have been dry, right?
Yeah.
Now, this guy started, it was meant to be delivered in 4 weeks because it was so far away, right? So within a week and a half, he started hounding me. Where's my book? Where's my book? Where's my book? Right? And I was like, your book's been posted. It should, should be there. It's meant to be there within the next couple of weeks. So finally, about half a week later, he messaged again, oh, I haven't got my book. I haven't got my book. Now, I just happened to have done it because it was a funny country. I did it signed for. So I actually checked with the Royal Mail and discovered that he'd actually got the book. So then I sent him a message back saying, but you received the book on such and such a day. And then he says, oh, yes, I have received the book. but it was blue mold. You know, it was moldy and wet. You know, and I'm like, yeah, right. You know, yeah, right, okay. I said, okay, no problem, that's fine. Look, just if you post the book back to me, I'll send you a refund and I'll pay you for the, you know, the refund of the book. Just send it back to me.
Yeah.
So he did an A to Z guarantee claim, right? Meanwhile, I'd never had an A to Z guarantee claim ever before. Meanwhile, this other woman got a book, and instead of getting the hardback, she got the paperback back by accident. And she didn't even message me to say, you sent me the wrong book, could you change it, or, you know, there's a mistake. She did an A to Z guarantee claim as well. So Amazon basically shut down our account, right? 2 days later, they shut down my wife's account and banned her because they thought it's related, right? Because it was the same IP address, the same address,
Yeah.
whatever. And basically, we're completely banned off Amazon. Now, I tried multiple times, different addresses, different cards, different everything, every time.
Yeah.
Within 3 days, they shut you down again. You know, so you can't rely on Amazon. You can't rely on Facebook. You can use them, and while they work, brilliant. You know, if you make $1 million on Amazon, wonderful. But remember, that $1 million business could be in the toilet tomorrow and gone forever.
Yeah.
You know, so I say to people, have your own land. Your own land is your own blog, your own content,
yeah,
which is in multiple places. Yeah. You want to keep it in multiple places. You want to keep it, you know, on, if it's important videos or trainings, keep it in Amazon S3. You know, have it on YouTube as well. Have it on your hard drive too, right? So if anything happens with YouTube or anything happens with Amazon, you've still got all your stuff, you know. And when you have all that stuff and you're using your own stuff, then you don't have to worry about it being deleted. You don't have to worry about it disappearing. And no matter what avenue closes off for marketing, you can always open up a new avenue. You know, you can always do it. You know, if Facebook shut down your page or your group, you can always go to another. You can go to MeWay, or you can go to, you know, Gab, or you can go to, you know, you can go and do a free classified ad on Gumtree or on Craigslist, or on, you know, there's always a way around as long as you've got your own land. And that's the most important thing, is to have your own hosting, your own autoresponder, have a backup of all the emails in the autoresponder, because autoresponder companies delete and take access for your emails as well sometimes.
Yeah.
I've learned that. It hasn't happened to me, touch wood, but it's happened multiple times to loads of people I know. So you need to also protect that stuff, or else you lose years of your work. You know, and that's really important. And that's one of the things I show people if they're interested. You know, like I had one guy who came to me and he's wanting to do YouTube marketing. And I told him about protecting his videos. And he was like, oh no, I don't need to worry about that. You know, I'm only starting and I'm going to make money in this. 6 months later, he come back to me, he says, oh, geez. You know, this guy was like stick somewhere in America, and he was like, you know, oh yeah, man, geez. It's like, what happened? You know, what happened, Jed? You know, it's like, oh, my whole YouTube channel was deleted, man. You know, why you told me about this a year ago and I wouldn't listen, and you know, oh, you know, what am I going to do? And this whole thing was gone, you know, and there's no reason. They don't give you a reason. Like YouTube says to you, you ask them what the reason is, like you said, and they say, we can't give you, we're not giving you a reason, and check the terms and conditions. And then you check the terms and conditions, and it says we could delete your YouTube channel for any reason. We don't have to give you a reason. So it's like, so we just deleted you for no reason.
Yeah.
You know, so if that's where your business is, and that's where your business is hosted, all its content, you're in the toilet, you know, very easily, you know. So it's very important that if you're, you know, if you're going to do something seriously, if you've only done 5 videos and it's your first couple of months online, you're not serious, that's fine. But if you're doing stuff for 5 years, you want to protect all your things, because these networks will go down. Some of them will go down for you, you know.
And you know, like we've said, we've talked today, and we've both experienced being shut out of things and no reason given. They just suddenly cancelled your account. So yeah, asset protection is really key.
Yeah, I mean, your online stuff, your groups and your things, that's your online assets. You know, that's your online database. And the thing is, if you can get them onto your mailing list, and you can get them onto your, you know, YouTube, and you get them onto your Facebook, and get them onto your other groups, and get them in 10 places. If it disappears from 2 or 3 places, or if YouTube block your website, you know, on Google or something, at least there's loads of places that you can still be showing. But if you're just focused, if you're the guy who's the Facebook expert, and you're just in Facebook, you know, well, I'm everywhere on Facebook, you know. 5 years, you know, you own all the real estate. Facebook, they press the switch. It's like, you're not the guru anymore.
You're in trouble.
You're back to beginner's class.
We talked earlier about the range of clients that my business has.
Mm-hmm.
And generically, is there some advice you could give to them to get started? What sort of things do you think they would be best looking at to start building an online business?
Okay. Well, for an online business, the first thing I say to people with an online business is your own. The biggest mistake I see people doing is trying to do it for really cheap or for free, right? If you're doing it as a hobby, that's fine. Do it for free. Or if you want to do it to practice or something, that's okay. You know, go and do a blog or whatever. But if you're doing it because you're serious and you want to make money and you want to quit your job, you need to start treating it and thinking of it like a business. So you need to spend money and buy the things that you need to do it properly. You know, you're not going to open up, you know, a McDonald's franchise, you know, and bring a pot to cook the chips, you know, on the gas cooker, you know what I mean, for like 5,000 people, you know. So like if you're going in and you think I'm going to use free hosting on Google to launch a successful business and do affiliate marketing, then, you know, you're like, you're the guy who's running McDonald's with a, you know, you're like buggered.
Yeah.
You know, you're never going to pay the rent, you know what I mean? You're never going to pay the mortgage, you know. So you have to start thinking like, you know, a business owner, and you have to think of, you know, getting the right, you know, you want your own land, you want your own hosting. It's very important to get a good hosting. I can't emphasize actually how important it is to get a good hosting, because when I talk about the experience I had with the social networks, right, I had like 10 times more problems with hosting. 10 times. I mean, I had 350 websites hacked in one night. I put a load of websites, did so much work, made so many websites that were starting to, you know, make money, and suddenly the hosting company, which said when you bought the hosting, unlimited hosting, unlimited websites, sent you an email saying you're using too much hosting space. You've got 2 weeks to get your websites off, and you've paid it for a year. You know, so loads of things like that happened to me with hosting. You know, Host Monster, they wait till your site gets hacked, and then they charge you £200 to unhack it, right? Now, if you've one site, you might say, okay, I'll swallow the £200, you know, whatever, right? But at the time on Host Monster, right, I had like 160 sites. So I don't know, 160 by £200. You need to make a lot of affiliate marketing sales to start paying that sort of money, you know. You know what I mean? And then they said that'll only protect you at the end of the month. So if somebody hacks again next month, you pay another 200. You know. So obviously, I discovered that I could find a way to get it fixed for like $5.
Yeah.
you know, on Fiverr and sorted out myself, you know, and that was okay. But for a lot of people who don't know what's being done to them with the hosting companies, or don't know how the host companies work, they're getting ripped off left, right, and centre, and it makes them think they can't afford their business. But it's not that they can't afford their business; it's just that they've got a really bad deal.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the hosting company I have with at the minute, if I send them a message in 20 minutes, my site's fixed. They fix it. You know,
Yeah.
I don't pay anything. I pay $350 a year, and I have 25 sites at each hosting, right? And basically anything goes wrong, they fix it like that. It's 10 times faster than my last hosting, because one of the factors with ranking your website is the speed of your site.
Mm.
What a lot of people do is they try and do cheap hosting because they say, well, I'm only a beginner, so I'll do cheap hosting, right? So their site's really, really slow. If your site doesn't load up within like 4 seconds, a lot of people are gone. So you've probably lost 50 or 60% of your customers just by your site not loading up, right? But forget that. Google, say, you know, if it's more than 10 seconds, sorry, you're not going to rank. You may be ranked on page 30 because your site's too slow. So as well as that, they're losing the money from Google. So, you know, by going and getting a, you know, $100 hosting with Bluehost and thinking you're getting a great deal, right? And then getting kicked off 6 months later and not ranking and having other issues and getting hacked and stuff like that, it's really not worth it, because you're not saving anything. Because if you take your hours into account, right, even if you think, the biggest mistake I find people think is they think that I can't afford a lot of money from internet business, so I'm going to try and do everything for free, right? But then if you take into account they've spent 50 hours, right, and say they were getting paid £10 an hour, right, 50 hours of their time, that's £500 of their time. Now they've spent 50 hours doing blog posts. They bought a cheap hosting, $200 cheaper a year, right? And all their sites are gone. They're ghost. How much money have you saved? You know, how much money have you saved? You know, you haven't saved anything. You've cost yourself hundreds or thousands of pounds. So it's not a saving. So to me, I think it's important to look at getting the right tools and the right equipment, because if you do that, you protect your assets, you protect your base. Like with protecting ordinary assets, you know, it doesn't matter if you make 10 million, you know, if you lose 12. Do you know what I mean? It's what you keep. It's not what, you know, it's not what you make, you know. You know. So it's the same with the online stuff, you know what I mean? Like, you can make the greatest business online, but if you've made it on a crap hosting and you lose it, you don't have a business, you know. So these things are really important. And I've learned a lot of things from experience, whereas a lot of people will learn them over time, themselves, you know. And a lot of people will, you know, move through it, move on, get it, and a lot of people won't. A lot of people just quit. That's why a lot of people quit, because they just, you know, when they have all these problems and they don't get through them, or nobody comes and says, well, this is how you solve it, and then they just say, right, well, there must be an easier way, and they go on to do something else to get a job or something.
And that's the thing with internet marketing. It takes a while to get things set up, and you just have to keep going and going and going with it. And when you think this isn't working, you know that you're just about there, and you just got to keep pushing a bit longer.
Absolutely. But I mean, the thing about the internet marketing that's brilliant is that when you get your thing going, when you get it up and running properly, you know, you can start getting all your residual incomes coming in. You know, you can start having money from all these things, and you don't even know where the things are coming from. You know what I mean? The last few days, I mean, I went and got commissions from different things that I didn't even know, like where I put the link or when it was, or, you know, and just, you have these things coming in because you have the stuff out there and you're putting the stuff out. It's like,
I had a thing happen a couple of months ago where I've been reviving a website, and I put a blog on there, and I just put an example of how to link a product into a into a blog. And what I did was I linked it to a book on Amazon, not a book that I sell. I was talking about plumbing.
Yeah.
And I just went on Amazon. I found the first book that came up on the list with plumbing. I put that as the link into it. And the number of books I'm selling on plumbing is just absolutely unbelievable.
Crazy, yeah. That's insane. That's insane. I mean, the thing with the internet is that you get one or two good things going and automated. That's it. Like you're off on a.
And I'm talking about internet. I'm talking about what I call desktop publishing, because that's the term I use for what I do online.
Yeah.
And I've just linked this plumbing book in, and I've got all these books selling on plumbing, and I'm not even talking about plumbing.
I know. I know. It's amazing.
It is. It's incredible business. Anyway,
absolutely.
We've run out of time, and I really want to thank you. It's been a great session chatting with you today.
No problem at all. It's been a pleasure.
I've got a blog site. I've got a website here that if anybody wants any information and would like to connect with Sotiris, I will put it at the end of this video, and I will also put a link on the bottom. But it's called asksotiris.com/business blog setup, and that will link you through to Ask Sotiris and information about business blogging and setting up businesses online. So Sotiris, I'd really like to thank you for today. It's been wonderful chatting
Thank
to
you very
again.
much, Karen. It's been great. Absolutely.
So yeah, any questions that anybody's got, if they wanted to find out anything about online asset protection, then obviously Sotiris is the person for you to talk to, and anything about setting up businesses. So Sotiris, thank you so much for being here tonight, and really great chatting to you, and I hope we'll catch up with you again shortly.
Absolutely, sounds brilliant, Karen. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'd just like to say as well there, I'm also available there in the live chat if you've any questions or whatever. I also, it's maybe one thing you'd like to do as well with your own blog. There's a plugin you can get for free, and you can put it on, and it gives you like a live chat in your blog. I mean, you can interact with people live as well. It's pretty cool.
I need to be on WordPress for that one, I think, don't I?
Yeah, are you not on?
Yeah, my one site isn't, and I've looked at moving it, and I've got so much on there that the person that actually handles most of my sites for me looked at it, he put his hands up and he said, Karen, I'm going to need a long time to do this.
Yeah.
But it will eventually go over.
Yeah.
But no, it would be good to actually have that there. But thank you, Sotiris, and like I've said, any information you want about online, please contact Sotiris, because he's always there. He can connect with you on Twitter, you're on Facebook and Instagram.
Yep, I'm everywhere. If you just go to asksotiris.com/social, I have links for all. I also recommend as well that you go on all the alternative social networks as well, because the main social networks, they censor a lot of stuff and hide a lot of stuff, and including often business stuff. You want to market your business. Facebook makes your stuff disappear when you put a link on it. Often hardly anybody gets to see it, so that's a good reason to post it on alternative social networks as well.
So great bit of advice there for us to finish with. So thank you for watching, and thank you, Sotiris, for being with us.
Thank you very much.